Here we go. Come on, mama. Come on, mama.
Hello and welcome to Sheep Chats. We're so excited you're here. I know I am. It doesn't matter if anybody else is. I know I am. So, in fact, it's a sheer joy to be here with you today. I've been waiting all day to say that. It's my favorite. I'm just so excited about sheep. You might recognize some of the sheep in the intro. They are Hog Island. We're here with Lisa and Sandra today to talk about some Hog Island sheep. If you can't tell, it's going to be amazing. We might even have a guest sheep appearance. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to lose it if we do. Anyway, please leave us a comment. Let us know you're here and how excited you are. Let us know if you have any questions for Lisa after our chat today. It's always my favorite. I never know what people are going to ask. You ask the most amazing things. Get excited. Just going to pump it up. I'm Brittany Sweetie. I'm the communications manager with the Livestock Conservancy. Sandra, do you want to introduce yourself and Lisa as well?
Sure. Thank you, Brittany. I'm Sandra Kirscher. I'm the Shave 'em to Save 'em coordinator here at the Livestock Conservancy. And Brittany and I are both super thrilled and grateful to have our guest today to talk about Hog Island sheep, Lisa Pregent of George Washington's Mount Vernon. And I'm super thrilled because y'all don't know, but Hog Island is my top 2 choices of sheep breed. Lisa.
That makes me very happy to hear. My name is Lisa Pregent. I am absolutely thrilled to be here with you all today and talking one of my favorite things, and that's Hog Island sheep. I've been here at Mount Vernon for 25 years. Just celebrated my 25th anniversary.
Congrats.
I know. Been manager of the Livestock Department for the last 16 years. So kind of seen a lot of things change. When I first started here, I think we had a total of 12 Hog Island sheep, and we've now, our flock size is up to 64. So we're really trying to help with the conservation of this breed. But we, our main job at Mount Vernon is to educate the public about the importance of livestock and the important role they played in colonial era. So, not only do we have the Hog Island sheep and we do costume shearing, we've got Milking Devon cattle, we have oxen that we work, Ossabaw Island hogs. So we try to raise and educate people about a lot of heritage livestock. But this is super exciting because the sheep are, and don't tell anybody else, one of my favorites. So.
Yay. So let's get into the background. I mean, you talked about them being a colonial breed. Where did they come from? How'd they originate? How'd they get to George Washington's Mount Vernon?
Well, the Hog Island sheep, we believe they're of British origin. And Hog Island is this little barrier island off the coast of Virginia. So they are a native breed to Virginia. And, the island was inhabited by folks from, the 1700s on. And they would kind of communally raise their sheep. They're on this island. There are no predators. There isn't anything to worry about. So the sheep just roamed. And they were gathered up occasionally, for shearing, for meat, whatever, but basically lived on this island. And, in 1930s, a bunch of storms were coming through, and the residents they left. They were done. They were tired of dealing with the storms, and left a bunch of sheep on the island. So here, these great little sheep that, they had to evolve in response to their habitat. And so, their foraging ability, their reproductive efficiency, and the hardiness, these sheep had to adapt to fit the island lifestyle. And so what we have now is this little Hog Island breed. Ewes are about 90 pounds. The rams are about 130 pounds. So they're a smaller breed. But they were left to fend for themselves. And in the 1970s, the Nature Conservancy purchased the island and gathered all the sheep and sent them to Virginia Tech, where Virginia Tech, they decided to do a study on whether or not these sheep were parasite resistant. And in their study, they found that it was more because they were isolated rather than resistant to parasites, which basically kept them parasite free. So after they were done with the study, Virginia Tech dispersed, I think it was 10 sheep or so, 20 sheep. I can't remember how many were pulled off, but dispersed to other historic sites. George Washington's birthplace, and I think Gunston Hall received some. And then in the 90s, our livestock department was just taking off here at Mount Vernon. And we had started researching, what breeds would best fit with our program. We were looking for critically endangered breeds, and something that kind of fit what George Washington may have had on the estate. So the Hog Island seemed like a perfect fit. George Washington was meticulous in his record keeping. Every shearing season, he would record about 3 to 5 pounds of wool that were sheared from his sheep, which is typically what the Hog Island produces. And he was always trying to improve the quality of his livestock. So the Hog Island kind of represents that typical plantation sheep that he was really trying to improve upon, but for better wool quality, for better meat quality, things like that. So we went with the Hog Island, and we went wholeheartedly with the Hog Island. And it was a challenge, because the genetic pool is so small, that trying to grow, a decent sized flock, we ran into just a lot of hurdles. But we think, we're doing okay right now.
Excellent. So you mentioned you are trying to work with, or you wanted to pick breeds that were critically endangered. So just for folks who are watching that may not be familiar with our conservation priority list, a critically endangered livestock breed has fewer than 200 U.S. annual registrations per year. So it really is a small population across the country. So that's why they're so important to save. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, and I don't know what the total numbers are up to now for the Hog Islands, but I know it's still pretty low. So if you're interested, in raising a heritage breed, we'll introduce you to some Hog Islands later, and hopefully you fall in love as much as we have.
Would be hard not to, right?
Absolutely.
So color-wise, I know what they look like, but there's some variability, right?
There is. Most of the Hog Islands are born spotted. They're black and white, or we've even been seeing a lot of chocolate or mocha colored, and even some kind of orangish red coloration. So, and as they mature, those spots will fade and they'll turn white. But about 10 to 20% are born solid black, and they'll stay black. And the cool thing about Hog Islands, I mentioned that they're a little smaller. So I'm only 5'2". I find them a little bit easier to work with, especially if I'm shearing by myself or having to medicate alone. But they both, males and females, can either have horns or not have horns. So the horn set is not gender specific. And let's see what else.
What's their temperament?
Well, they are still considered a feral breed. So they are alert, and they stay, in a very tight flock. and there's always a watcher. There's always one ewe or one ram that's constantly got their eye on something. But we spend a lot of time with our sheep. We go in the pens and we sit, and have kind of got them to a point. They're like big dogs. I'll take you out in a few and introduce you to some of our ewes, but they'll climb on you. They're in your hair. They're taking selfies. They're just all over the place, and curious about what you're doing. But yeah, I've got a couple of examples of shawls back here that were done by some of our trades personnel. So the wool, this is all Hog Island. So you can see it kind of has that ivory, kind of a beige tone white to it. They do produce a lot of lanolin, which they had to, being on the island, to protect themselves. But it is a challenge when you're shearing, and then, as a fiber person, which I'm not, but I would imagine that it can be quite a challenge dealing with that kind of in the cleaning process.
Do you use electric blades?
We have. They tend to gum up the electrics pretty quickly.
That's what I asked, yeah.
And I mean, we do all of our shearing in front of the public using hand shears anyway, so we've all gotten to be fairly efficient using hand shears, and it's kind of the preferred method by most of us. But even then, we're purchasing hand shears probably every other year because they just dull so fast because of the lanolin.
Interesting.
Yes. Their wool quality, I mean, it's considered a medium quality wool. The staple length isn't very long. It's only about 2 inches on average. We've been seeing in our yearling ewes, quite a few of them have about a 4 to 5 inch staple, which has really been something that we're trying to improve upon, is getting a better quality wool as well. But yeah, I like I said, I'm not a spinner. I've heard that it can be pretty elasticy to work with. And again, the lanolin can be a bit of a challenge, but we've gotten a lot of positive feedback about, especially with the shave 'em to save 'em, and a lot of folks using Hog Island wool for the first time. Got a lot of positive feedback. So,
Cinder, do you want to pull up some photos of some of that Hog Island wool since we're looking at it?
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Brittany.
Let's see. I'm just going to go through some of these yarn skeins.
So these were all submitted by Shave 'em to Save 'em fiber artists. And I can't read the farm names on these or the artist names at the moment, but they are all enrolled fiber artists, and they have done some beautiful work with Hog Island. Lisa, the elasticity that you were talking about with the fiber, that makes for good socks. I think that I heard that that's a good sock quality elasticity, yes?
Yes, I believe so. I've heard a lot of folks using for socks and for gloves, and for blankets and outerwear sweaters. A lot of feedback has come. You don't want it right up against your skin necessarily, but it is, great sweaters.
And as a medium grade wool, it has a little more durability than something that's a fine grade. So that would also be a quality for socks or mittens or an outer layer like a sweater. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Let's see. I had more questions for you. Oh, experience level for someone who might be interested in getting started with Hog Islands. Do you think that they're a good breed for a beginner shepherd or intermediate level shepherd? What are your impressions?
I would say it could go any way, honestly. And I say that because it depends on how much time you have to dedicate to your flock. Like I said, they can be very standoffish. But if you have that time to dedicate and spend with them, they're going to be a lot easier to work with. They are generally wonderful mothers. Most of the times twins are extremely common, singles are common, and even we've had quite a few triplets born. And they all tend to be pretty good moms. Every now and then you kind of get one that doesn't have, that motherly gene. But I think that's typical of any breed. They're great foragers. They tend to browse more than graze. You can put them on, it doesn't have to be high quality forage. They tend to do pretty well. They're a pretty hardy breed. I don't know. I think if you're kind of looking for a different breed of sheep that has they have a lot of personality. It's funny that we're talking about this, that I think anybody that raises heritage breeds, and especially sheep, are absolutely enthusiastic about the breed that they have. And I think that is wonderful. And trying to sell anybody, why, Hog Islands or whatever, it's all just dependent on what you're looking for. I think as a beginner shepherd, you would be fine with a small flock. They're easy to shear for the most part. Like I said, they're small. And yeah, I think they do well.
Cool. You mentioned the Virginia Tech study about the parasite resistance. What have you, and you said that they are not necessarily a parasite resistant breed. It was the isolation that enabled them to not really have high numbers of parasites. What have you guys found in your area in Virginia as far as parasites? Has it been much of an issue? Not Mount Vernon specifically, but any other flocks that you might be aware of in the Mid-Atlantic region?
Yeah, I think it varies year to year. It depends on how mild, being in Virginia, on kind of where we are, we can either see really cold winters or mild winters. And I think that has a lot to do with how the next year is going to be. If there's, this year it's been cold, it's been wet, but we haven't had a deep freeze.
Right.
So that's a little worrisome as far as parasites are concerned. The ground needs to get cold for them to die off. But I think, as long as we do the FAMACHA test on our sheep and kind of deworm as needed. So we aren't deworming a whole lot.
Right.
Again, spring lambs, that's usually when we tend to see the biggest problem.
What other, I guess, shepherding or housekeeping things do you think that a new breeder, a new Hog Island breeder or owner would need to be aware of? Is there anything specific that stands out in your mind as something that somebody would be careful of or watch out for?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing is inbreeding. And making sure your sheep are registered. Being such an endangered breed, having your sheep registered and having a pedigree on that animal is extremely important to prevent inbreeding. The genetic pool, like I said, is so small for these guys, and communicating with other Hog Island breeders, trying to get different stock, trading, selling, whatever you can do to try to broaden the genetics on your farm. We're trying to start up a Hog Island Sheep Breeders Association for that reason. I've had a couple people in Pennsylvania that I had sold sheep to, and they were contacting me. They wanted to trade rams, but didn't realize that these two farmers were only 10 miles from each other. And they had no idea that there was another Hog Island sheep breeder that close. So I think creating and trying to have this Hog Island Sheep Breeders Association and trying to get all of the breeders together, introduce each other and work towards the conservation of this breed is extremely important.
That's especially important for a critical breed. Yeah. Because the numbers are so low, because the strains are so low. or so small.
So, and we do have, if you have Hog Island sheep, if you're interested in Hog Island sheep, we have a Hog Island Sheep Breeders Association Facebook page where you can get on and try to find up-to-date information. I think there's an application for the association on the Facebook page. Really encourage anyone interested. There's a friend membership, even if you're just a Hog Island enthusiast. We welcome anyone.
Lisa, what's the name of that Facebook page so people can go to it and tell you how excited they are about these sheep?
I think it's the Hog Island Sheep Breeders Association. If you just put in, that whole name, it should bring up the page.
Perfect. If you have them, you heard it here first. Go to Facebook.
Are you looking for it? I'm hesitating to say anything because I thought you were going to throw it up there.
I'm trying to type it right now. I can only type so fast. There it is.
Yay! Thank you. And you started this breed association last year, 2 years ago? How long?
It's been in the works since 2018.
Okay.
About 7 to 9 breeders. We kind of had a little powwow here at Mount Vernon and talked about kind of the upstart of the association and getting membership. And so it took me a little while to get, go through all the proper avenues of getting the tax ID number. But we are a legit association. Took a little while. And of course, right when we were going to have our first breeders meeting, COVID hit. So, it's kind of put a damper on membership, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, whatever we can do to help you. Besides the friend membership, definitely doing that. Thank you, Brittany. Is this different than the other one?
The dog is going to be really loud for a second. The trash guy is coming.
It's COVID. It's okay.
That's
to be expected.
The window's open. It's so he's like, oh, there's someone outside. So if you type in Hog Island Sheep Breeders Association Facebook, that's the first one, but this is technically the URL for it. So okay. Hog Island BA Breeders Association. Either one will work. Please do this.
Lisa, I have another question for you. You said you were getting together when you were first talking about this in 2018 about forming the breed association. You talked about it at Mount Vernon and with a few other breeders. Where are the majority of the Hog Island breeders? Have they stayed pretty close to the Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, the Mid-Atlantic region, or?
Yes, most are in the Mid-Atlantic, Virginia, Delaware, Pennsylvania. I've got, I think, Kentucky. We've got a couple of flocks in Kentucky. I think the furthest we flew a couple of hog islands out to, I believe it was California, Northern California. But
so that's kind of similar.
Yeah, everything's pretty much right kind of in this Mid-Atlantic region.
What are your thoughts on, because we had a similar question about Florida Cracker a few weeks back. Someone wanted to know whether or not Florida Cracker would do well in the Southwest. And Florida Crackers are very concentrated in the Southeast. And so I didn't know of anyone raising them out West. What are your just gut thoughts about hog islands in the Southwest? I mean, the fact that they're hardy and they like to browse and they're pretty independent, that all sounds positive.
I think they do well. And one thing that the hog islands, some of them have retained the ability to shed. And so we've noticed a couple of our sheep, if we have a mild winter, they'll start to shed their wool. And so I think they do pretty well, in a hotter climate. And it would be interesting to see without the high humidity levels, you know, even if it's just a dry heat, what that would do with the lanolin content. Because I know
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
If we, you know, wait until June, sometimes, you know, we're shearing all of our ewes in May. If we don't get to the rams until, you know, the first part of June, and it's been really hot, you know, they're just they look like Cheetos. They're just these big yellow puffballs.
Well, and I imagine too, with the lanolin content, being in a windy, dry environment may not be a good combination, just because of how much dirt that fleece would pick up. Yeah. Do you guys, since you're part of Shave 'em to Save 'em, do you coat your sheep at all, or because you're at a living history farm, that's not really part of our history?
No.
Okay.
We don't.
Yeah. I was wondering if the lanolin content would make it a little difficult to have a coat on, you know, the stickiness or the greasiness of it, if the heat would felt the wool, or
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. And, you know, the lanolin, it tends to stay further in the wool. It doesn't,
okay.
It's closer to the skin, and, you know, it just seems to concentrate there. And that's when we shear them, you know, we'll actually get big pockets of lanolin where it's actually like, you know, chunked up.
Wow. And you then take that home and you use it for hand cream?
You know, everybody's hands in May are super soft, though. I'm not complaining.
Nice.
You have a couple of other projects there behind you, or are those pictures? It's hard for me to
do some show and tell.
They're pictures, just, you know, what a Hog Island lamb looks like. Very, very cute. And then, you know, just this is one of our education boards that we use, explaining the Hog Island, kind of the history of the breed and things like that. But and then we've got a gorgeous photo of our adult ewe flock eating. I don't know.
I think I have that one. Hold on.
Yeah, I think you do too, Brittany.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a beautiful photo.
On the screen. So
the coloration of the different, you know, colors of the wool.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. Brittany, what other photos did we have? Lisa gave us some more.
We've got a ton of super cute little babies. There's this one. She's in for the camera.
Face.
We've got some mamas and babies.
That's a pretty ewe.
Yeah. Come on. They're just chilling. This one might be my favorite. With the tongue hanging out. This one is a lamb. It's super cute.
Adorable.
They're pretty precious.
Sandra's your favorite with the two lambs in the bucket.
Yeah. I love those little guys.
They're real cute.
All right, shall we take a walk?
Yeah, let's go see some sheep.
Do it, yes.
Just bear with me, sorry. I'm gonna walk here.
Thank you for doing this. We're very excited.
Some extra special guests.
If I get mauled, just send help.
We will.
Well, stay tuned. There are going to be some super cute sheep joining us momentarily.
Hello. Hi, ladies. These are all of our yearling ewes. So I'm just going to sit here in the stall and they're going to get curious.
Come see what that face.
So cute.
Wow. So Lisa, will this one right here in the camera now, will that one lose its spots on its face, or do you think she'll keep them?
So they'll usually maintain the spots on their faces.
Okay.
It's when And this one, see how she's kind of a mocha colored?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But underneath her fleece is white. So
Mhm.
she will eventually fade. I'm going to get kisses. Thank you. But
Lucky.
any spots on the face, like little fish here. Hey, don't chew on that. She'll keep the spots on her face and on her legs.
She is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
This is Miss Sally. Nope, you're going to be camera shy. Okay. But,
Ooh, is there a pure black back there?
yes.
Oh.
So we nope, that's right. We yeah, I'm being mauled. I've got one eating my hair. We choose themes for naming every year.
Mhm.
And this past year was Dr. Seuss characters. So
Aw.
this is one fish.
That's awesome.
And we've got
It's
Vera
precious.
Violet Vim right here. We try to have a little bit of fun with the names.
Uh-huh.
That's Tucanella. And what are you doing, Gretchen?
So I can make
Now, there goes my
Lisa
hand.
bigger.
Yeah, she's eating here. So
I'm
we
gonna
spend a
pull
lot
your.
of time with these girls.
So they're quite comfortable with you.
Yes, they do not recognize personal space.
Oh. So we lost Brittany. Hopefully we're still streaming. We're gonna pretend we are still streaming in case we are.
Okay. I have.
So you have how many ewes here? You said these are your yearlings?
These are yearlings except for this one. She's an adult.
Okay.
But we've got, there are 14 in here.
Mm-hmm.
These,
And what's your feeding situation like there at Mount Vernon?
feeding.
Yeah.
Well,
I see they've got some hay. So.
Yeah.
And I imagine you were saying it was pretty nasty weather. I don't know if you guys have snow right now on the ground or if they can still get out to graze.
They can get out to graze. Unfortunately, everything is so muddy right now.
Yeah.
But you know, we do supplement with grain. Just we don't have enough pasture to be able to maintain them on just that.
Mhm.
And so they do get grain and pretty much hay twice a day.
Mhm.
You know, as much as they clean up
Mhm.
or wear, because you're wearing some. But it just kind of all depends. You know, we're very careful. We check their weight pretty regularly. And if we've noticed that any are too thin or too obese, you know, we'll adjust our feeding schedule accordingly.
Mhm.
What are you going to eat?
Are they certain breeds like to put on weight, you know, just by looking at food? Are they inclined to one or the other, overweight
No,
or
not.
underweight, or?
They actually, you know, Tyra, I don't trust you. They are pretty easy keepers. You know, it seems like it is individual to the sheep, whether or not, you know, we've got a couple rams that are really obese and a couple that are a little underweight. So, you know, we try to separate and feed accordingly. But, so I got to keep my eye on this one.
What's the story with her? What?
She's very protective of her little flock here. She's an adult. She's the only adult in here. And she's pretty protective of them. So she will come at you.
She's matriarch, huh? At
She
least of this
is.
group.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that face, Lisa.
Yep. That's
So.
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions from people that have come in about the sheep?
okay.
Let's see. Linda wants to know, at what age do the horns appear? Good
Um,
question.
so pretty much when they are born, we will know if they're going to have horns or not because they'll have little horn buds. So usually at about a week or two, they'll really start to appear.
Great. Thank you, Linda. Jay wants to know what your deworming method is.
So we follow the FOMACHA rule, and really we deworm kind of on an as needed basis. Definitely at breeding season and lambing season, we'll deworm, but that's really about the only regularity we do it.
Great, thanks, Jay.
They're making this a little challenging for you.
Sorry.
You're
You're
doing great.
Also wants to know, do they require tail docking?
We do dock the tails, yes, just for hygiene purposes.
How long would their tails get if you didn't dock, Lisa?
They're pretty long. They hang down past. Sorry, one's eating my iPad. They hang down past the hock usually. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're
Very long.
pretty long.
Let's see. Eli says, I'm taking the family to Mount Vernon next Monday. Will the flock be open to the public?
Yes, we do have one little area in the historic area where we've got most of our adult ewes, so you can certainly see them and visit.
That's great. Eli, definitely go by and say hello.
Lisa, when will lambing start? You said you're expecting it pretty soon. What's your estimate there? When can people show up and expect to see lambs on the ground?
So our first possible lambing date, I think, is March 9th this year.
Okay.
So usually we keep them, out of the public eye for a couple days. I would say definitely by mid to late March, you should be able to see the lambs.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Brittany, do we have more questions? Yeah.
We have a shout out from Jeanette, who said Mount Vernon Sneelock was the 2000th sheep in the Hog Island registry, and Lorax was the 600th lamb born at Mount Vernon.
Wow, that's awesome. Thanks, Jeanette.
That's incredible.
Sneelock.
I love it.
Uh-huh.
I think that's all the questions. We do have a bunch of shout outs from everybody saying hello. And we're so glad that you're here and watching and enjoying these super cute sheep today.
Yes. You guys are being hams, aren't you?
Oh, that's awesome.
Fishy. He's gonna steal the show.
Easily, yeah.
Is that you?
She's super cute.
Okay. This is Gretchen von Schwinn. She's a favorite among staff. She's just a very sweet girl, aren't you?
I love her milk mustache.
Yes. She likes to nibble on noses a lot, so.
Aw.
That's real cute.
Yeah, very pretty girl.
Yes. Okay.
Very sweet. And they have a beautiful home. My goodness.
Yeah. Go on. We just got a new livestock facility. This will be, I think we're going into our second year here. So it's really been amazing. We were in a very small barn before this. And, we were very fortunate before COVID hit that this was finished because it kind of gave us the ability to bring the animals back and kind of house everybody in a safe area. We've got the room now, so.
Yeah. It's gorgeous barn. Yeah. How big is this facility? How many square feet?
It's about 12,600 square feet.
Wow. And that's all livestock and a few offices, or are there classrooms in there as well?
Most of it, we're just going to take a little walk down. So these are all the horse stalls here, but we'll go down to the livestock wing. We've got our own separate area for the sheep and the cattle. So I think I've got some of my adult rams down here, so we can say hi to them real quick.
Oh, yeah. Let's do.
Lisa, while you're walking, Linda had a question about the layers or striations on the horns. Do they correspond to age or something environmental?
We found a lot of the times with age, though, and some do and some don't. And sometimes the older they get, the smoother their horns get. So I'm not sure or environmental. I'm not really sure.
I wonder if it's kind of like our nails, that sometimes, the older we get those ridges on our nails. I wonder if there's a yeah.
And these are the boys, so you can see we've got a lot of horned.
We've got you frozen.
You're frozen real quick.
Frozen. I may not have. Let me go back.
Might not have Wi-Fi at that end.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah. We can hear them though.
We can.
Is it unfrozen?
No, it's still frozen.
Going back to Wi-Fi.
Okay. Boys miss out on the action.
Trying to join the conversation.
Were there any shout outs you could do, Brittany?
Going back to Wi-Fi yet?
Nope, still frozen.
Nope.
Let's see.
Okay.
Ellie wanted to know when you shear how she can buy fleeces.
Certainly, there are a lot of, we sell fleeces, and there are a lot of private farmers that sell fleeces. If you want, you can contact me at Mount Vernon. The Shave 'em to Save 'em has a great provider of fleece providers, or a list of fleece providers. So definitely, use the Livestock Conservancy. Please reach out. Love to hear, how people are using it, and thoughts on the Hog Island wool.
Absolutely. Let's see. I'm going to do some shout outs while you're still walking. Erin says, hello from rural Wisconsin. Fortunately, she can't own sheep, but that's okay. Thanks for tuning in today. You can still enjoy the super cute ones on the screen. Thanks for joining us, Erin. Marilyn says, hi from New York. She's very excited to learn about Hog Island. Haven't spun it yet, but hopefully this will inspire you to do so. Thanks for tuning in today. We're glad you're here. Erin also recommends an Airbnb for sheep, which is a fabulous idea.
That's on my long-term to-do list.
We love it. We love it. Please, let's start something.
That's awesome.
Morgan Farm says hello from Frankfort, Kentucky. They raise Jacob and Shetlands. Thanks for joining us today. We already said hello to Jeanette, who's like, yeah, Lisa.
Couldn't do without you guys.
Ellie, thanks again for joining us from Alexandria, Virginia. We're so excited you're here. Jeanette is from Havencroft Farm, Arkansas, Ozarks. They raise Jacobs and colored Angora goats. Thanks for joining us today. We're so excited you're here.
Hi, Jeanette.
Danielle says, hello there, a fellow Hog Island shepherd in New York. Yay!
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us today, Danielle. Carrie says, hello, they raise Shetlands. Thanks for raising Shetlands and joining us today. Marilyn wants to know, would Hog Islands be okay to raise in New York State? I think we found somebody has one. So.
Yeah, there
are some breeders in New York State. So
And Lisa, since there is not a website yet for the Hog Island Breed Association that lists a member list or a breeder list, we have a few breeders on both our online and our printed breeders directory. But if someone were up your way, or say they were at the farm and just wanted information about breeders in your area, do you guys also have something that you provide?
I certainly can. Yes.
Okay.
I've got kind of a book of I think most of the Hog Island breeders in the country.
Okay.
And so if, again, if there's somebody like in New York and you want to raise sheep in New York, but you don't want to travel to Virginia or Delaware, we can point you in the direction of a breeder in, that area where you can acquire a flock.
Awesome. Thank you.
Perfect. Was there anything else you think we should know about Hog Island sheep?
No, I really appreciate everybody tuning in today and learning about, one of my favorite breeds, but they are really endangered and not well known. So, really appreciate anyone who's watching and learning about a new breed of sheep. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing such a great job at Mount Vernon and with the Hog Island and representing the breed and trying to grow the breeders. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I'm gonna
Thanks so much.
Association on Facebook one more time. Just in case anybody was tuning in at the end and missed it at the beginning, yes, please connect with Lisa.
Awesome. Did we put a link up for George Washington's Mount Vernon at any point? We could do that too. So
we could definitely do that. Let me do that.
Just so folks can get an idea of what all the great things there are to do there and see there and
absolutely
plan their next trip.
Yes, there's
you
always
go by and see the sheep at Mount Vernon. Here's their website. Check when they're open.
Mm-hmm.
We've got an animal family day coming up at I think the end of April. So if you've got children and you're in the area, please come out, meet some sheep and some cattle, and just have a good day.
Awesome. Sounds like fun. Lisa, thank you so much. We appreciate your time today. This was fun. Thanks for taking us on a tour of the ewe stall.
Got seasick.
Absolutely. Well, before we go, I just want to say thanks to Lisa and thanks to all of our members. Thank you for making today's Sheep Chat possible. We couldn't save Rare Breeds without you, so thanks for being a part of that. And if you're not already a member, please let us know. We would love to hook you up. We could even make you a conservation champion, so you don't even have to think about it. We'll just get your bank account and take it out every month. We like to make it easy for you.
We're not opposed to larger donations either.
No, that is very true. Every little bit helps. So small or big, we appreciate you and thanks for making it possible. That's my shameless plug for the afternoon.
Well done.
Thank you, Brittany.
Awesome. Well, hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon. Please tune in again next week. And who is coming up next week, Sandra?
Next week, we are talking to Lexi Hain of the American Solar Grazers Association. I'm super excited to learn all about solar grazing and how we can incorporate heritage breeds into this.
Absolutely. All right. Well, have a great one. Thanks again, Lisa. Everyone have a great afternoon.
Bye, all. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow on the Shave 'em to Save 'em group. We have Woolly Wednesday, our first Woolly Wednesday coming up with author Sarah Anderson of the Spinner's Book of Yarn Designs. We're really looking forward to talking to Sarah tomorrow. Hope you join us.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for that.